Good morning. Good morning from Bangkok. How's it going, guys? I'm finally out on one of my walks again. One of my Bangkok walks. So, it's Friday morning, good Friday morning here in Bangkok. What's happening? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're gonna have a good weekend. I haven't been on a proper walk in quite a while. I've had some things going on, stuff happening that I can't do. This guy right here wants me to go with him in his tuk-tuk. Mile cup. Exercise. See, then he realizes I'm probably living around here. My cop. So, what should I ramble about today? There's so much to ramble about in our world. Our world is going through all sorts of stuff. Something's happening up here. Somebody's yelling at somebody. Right down this road here, this is where the Jim Thompson house is at. Buddy cop. So, yeah. I guess I'm putting this right into the sun. This probably isn't a good angle to be walking and rambling. Actually, I think I'll do some walking and rambling a little bit later with different lighting. But I've just walked past the MBK, the Siam Paragon Center, MBK, and all this stuff. I'm heading out towards, I just follow this road. It was originally Sukhumvit, and then it turns into some other names, and you just follow it straight out. And that turns into, or runs into the Grand Palace, which I'm sure Friday morning, it'll probably be really busy. We'll see what happens here. One of our bus guys. Yeah. Anyway, I'll get some more thoughts on my head a little bit later for a bit of a ramble. But I think it's getting warmer, hotter and warmer. So I wear this cap on my head because it helps keep the sweat from pouring all over my face. Actually, it looks a little crazy because it's so hot, but you know, a lot of athletes and sports people wear their little sweat bands, their head bands, and I wear this thing, and I got a bunch of them too, so I don't have just one stinky old sweaty cap that I'm wearing all the time. I got them at H&M for, I forget, they were really cheap. And I bought a bunch of them because that's the way I do things. So I'll always have a couple that'll be nice and clean and neat for going out. And then some for sticking under my helmet on the moto. And some for just this, for just out walking and absorbing all the sweat. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna probably do this a little bit more later, but if you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to leave a comment in my comment section. Like and share. Is that what you're supposed to say when you're doing this YouTube stuff? Like and share my video, or subscribe. Yeah, not that I've set out to do any big YouTube stuff. I thought I was going to do some different live events, but YouTube let me do one live event, I think, And then I try to do live and it says no, Flano, you're not allowed to go live. No, Flano, you're not allowed to go live on YouTube. YouTube does not want you to go live. Maybe you say some crazy things. Maybe you sound like David Icke and say many crazy things about lizard people. Actually, I don't talk about lizard people, but I do. I do listen to Mr. Icke often, and I am one of many that really dig what he says, because I do believe he's speaking the truth. And he's not an anti-Semite, he's not anti-Jew, he's God, okay, I guess I'm getting started on this. So, the first thing I ever heard about this David Icke was something about bloodlines, reptilian bloodlines, and he being like anti-Jew or something like this. But he had, 100 million gazillion followers, watchers, subscribers. So I wanted to hear what he had to say. He said nothing about anti-Jew, anti-Holocaust. He's not a Holocaust denier. So what's happening? Oh, can you see that? Fireworks. Hear that? Hear that? Can you see it? Wow, see all the smoke? So all that firecracker stuff that just went off for a few minutes is a little temple over here. So it's Friday. Must be some sort of a holiday, I'm guessing. So, yeah. Oh, you could smell all the gunpowder. Yeah, right here. Buttercup. Yeah, right there they did it in the parking lot. Okay, so I'll keep rambling, I guess. So David Icke. Yeah, the first thing I ever heard of him was he's like Holocaust denier. When I hear that, I'm like, how can anybody be a Holocaust denier? That's just crazy, right? And then says, so he's a Holocaust denier, he's anti-Semitic, anti-Jew, all this stuff. But he had a ton of followers. So I wanted to check him out. I wanted to see for myself what the guy has to say and not just have an opinion off of some of these things. Excuse me. I'm going to stop and get a water here after I'm done with this ramble. So there's all the firecracker stuff. So I started watching some of his like live performance events where he talks. This guy talks for like 8-10 hours a day to packed, to auditoriums, to facilities, venues, big places. I mean, 8 hours? Damn, I thought I rambled a lot. So anyway, I started listening to all this stuff. Yes, the reptilian bloodline thing is pretty far out there. But if you really pay attention to his stuff, it's crazy, but man, he's got all this very fascinating global research to back up everything he says. Well, regardless of what you think of the guy, I feel he does tell the truth on all these other issues. Okay, the whole Jewish thing, let's get that out of the way with David Icke. He's not anti-Jew, he's not anti-Holocaust, he's not a Holocaust denier. And then why do people say that about him? This is what's fascinating. Why do people say all these bad things about him? And recently, very recently, David Icke had an Australia tour. He was banned from that. Or I'm sorry, he had this Australian tour just recently scheduled. He's in LA, getting ready to hop on his flight to go do this. You know, it's all multi-cities, venues are booked, tickets are sold. It's all a done deal. And just before he hops on his flight, he gets a notification that his visa's been revoked. He's been blocked from entering Australia by a small Zionist group. According to David Icke, it's just a small group of the Jewish people, I guess. A very small group, but they are what is known as the Zionists. And the Zionists, from what I understand, the Zionist Jews do not represent all Jewish people. So, obviously I'm not Jewish, but I spent all these years around a lot of Jewish people and being fed over the years by a lot of wonderful, beautiful Jewish people. I've got very, very close friends that are Jewish. Very close friends that I love very, very much. And I may not know everything about everything, but what's interesting is learning about why is David Icke being banned in certain places by these Jewish groups that actually don't even represent all of the Jewish culture or people. It's more a movement, from what I understand. And the reason that he's getting banned and blocked is they don't want people knowing the truth. The truth about what, Flano? What do you mean the truth? Well, rather than me try to say everything about him, I just suggest people go check him out themselves if they're interested. You go back to some of his early stuff and everything he was talking about has come true, or it's happening, or it will come true. Everything. So he's not a prophet, he's not a prophecy, he's just common sense, and he also knows what's going on behind the curtain. A lot of people do. Some people use the term woke, awake, waking up, open your eyes, open mind. And there's definitely an agenda going. David Icke maps it out really, really clearly, especially his 9/11 was an inside job video. Woo-hoo! There's nobody out there, in my opinion, anybody who believes the narrative, the official narrative on 9/11 is so in the dark, in my opinion. If you believe the narrative, if you believe it was these terrorists in an airplane, please watch the David Icke 9/11 was an inside job. Just take your time, have an open mind, and you watch that video. And you tell me, honestly, after watching the video, what do you think? There are so many factual evidence, documents, government memos, everything that clearly shows this was all very, very well planned out in advance. Why was the owner of the building, why was that guy, the owner of the World Trade Center, why was he not present that morning? Every morning he goes for breakfast top of the Trade Center like clockwork, every fucking morning. Every morning. But that morning he didn't go. Governor Willie Brown of San Francisco was told don't fly that day. he was tipped off. This is all documented stuff. Don't fly. A lot of people were told, oh, don't fly today. When you look into the goings on with Cheney and Rumsfeld, whew, God, these guys are evil. All the whole Bush thing, you go back to Prescott Bush. Who knows about Prescott Bush? I doubt most people have no idea who Prescott Bush is or the significance of Prescott Bush. So Prescott Bush was the one who really got all the shit fucking going. And his first son, the first President Bush, he was pretty evil. And there's a lot of speculation that he was involved in the JFK assassination. You got to realize the Bushes didn't want a JFK interfering with their little baby Bush that was coming up through the ranks. But anyway, I'm regressing or whatever. So yeah, the Prescott Bush stuff is pretty amazing. But anyway, David Icke is what I guess I'm kind of talking about. I find his talks very fascinating. And he's been banned and blocked. Excuse me. He's been banned and blocked because people, the higher ups, don't want you to know what he's talking about. They don't want you to hear the truth. I need to get some water. So, remember, he's been blocked by these little organizations, little groups, mostly Jewish-based groups, because, yeah, he's pissing off a certain, I believe, from what I understand, it's kind of a small percentage of the Zionist Jewish community. You know, a lot of Jewish people that actually really dig what he has to say, actually. That's a whole nother thing. He's got tons and tons of Jewish followers. So you can't believe everything you see out there. You got to do your own research. That's what a lot of this stuff like David Icke, there's other people out there too, trying to get the truth going. If I do that, I get in big trouble. Yeah. Oh. Operation Northwoods.